So remember when I said I was going to play Daydream Syndrome at ZAP? Remember how that didn't happen?
Whoever pulled the fire alarm at Anime ZAP at 6 a.m. on Sunday, fuck you. I hate you.
Hey, for Anime ZAP, Jan gave us the perfect phrase for it. Promises made, promises delivered. Because Anime ZAP, I think, was an amazing convention. Was it not?
Oh, yes. Well, welcome, everyone, to Off the Balcony, Episode 3. We are kind of fresh off of ZAP, and we're going to recap that. And then today, I believe we're going to Lolcows.
Whatever. And we'll also be giving a very brief, because we don't want to bore everyone with just a preview. We are going to AMKE. All of our panels got approved last night. We'll be doing 6 panels, and we'll explain what those are in detail once we get done with our ZAP retrospective. And then we'll cut right into Lolcows, because Steven has a lot of exciting news to share on that front.
Exciting or disappointing?
Extremely disappointing, but go on.
All right, so let's start with the ZAP retrospective.
Who wants to start?
Well, I know we started driving up there right after me and Wade's girlfriend got off of work.
Yep. It was super easy. Just loaded up in the car, rolled.
ZAP, the location of ZAP is only about less than 45 minutes from where we live.
Yeah.
Although, grand scheme of things, anytime we drive up for ZAP, I'm just reminded how dreary central Illinois looks in the middle of January, so...
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's... Get used to that cloudy overcast, because that shit don't go away till, April.
Hey, you know what? It looks nice with snow.
Oh, the snow. Hey, I'd say we got away... It took me a second to realize what you were doing there, but yeah, Love Live is a thing that will be mentioned here.
So far, Hannah Streak is referencing Love Live at least once an episode.
Hey,
you reference 9/11 every
I was gonna
episode.
say,
which one of us is better?
Steven is the one that references 9/11, Hannah.
You both have a point. Hannah gets one Love Live reference per episode, like we get one 9/11 reference per episode.
My references are the very mean German guy who YouTube will demonetize us if we say.
Right then.
Well, you didn't say it, but anyway. So yeah, we drive straight from work to get to Anime ZAP. Perfectly fine drive. Get checked in. Saw Mark and Mia in the.
Yeah, they were the first people we saw.
Yeah, they must have gotten there not too long before we got there.
By we, he means the 4 people who could actually leave about 3:30. I showed up at about, 7:45, 8 o'clock that night.
Yeah.
You forgot to request time off of work.
And
live and learn.
And right off the bat, we were talking to Mark about news with Vince McMahon. I don't know if any of our listeners follow pro wrestling or not, but... it's the return of the king. Well,
considering most of the people that we picked up for this podcast as subscribers and whatnot were in that little room for the wrestling panel.
Yeah, the room these guys had their WWE panel at ZAP, and Wade added a slide of basically shilling our podcast, and there were quite a few takers.
Yeah, so we appreciate all the people in that room. Always love doing that wrestling panel, but we'll get to that later, because one of the things I loved is that as soon as we checked in, the concierge, the guy
at the front desk.
Yeah, the check-in guy gave us like a quarter of a roll of tickets for the happy hour that they do at the hotel bar there. And the happy hour isn't it's not amazing. You can't get anything that you want for reduced price or anything. But you can get rum and Coke, and that'll do you pretty well. And it was good rum and Coke, So, we were happy with it. We did happy hour both nights, of course, because why wouldn't we? But, yeah, check-in super easy. The room is the best that we ever... I think it might be my favorite hotel that we stay at.
Purely because, was it last year on this time? Some of us had Wade had some family affairs to take care of, and he canceled the room because he thought, oh, we're just going to drive back and forth. But I brought up the point of, well, if we're going to be drinking like we usually do, maybe
You're not going to be driving.
Yeah, we're not driving. So I booked while I was driving for Domino's at the time. I booked a room for like, I don't know, it was like $400 a night. Oops. But it's turned out to be the room that we all like now.
Yeah.
Because it has
It turned out to be a suite.
yeah. Picked us up
Yeah.
a suite, and it was a bed with the door, and then the pull-out couch, and then there's room enough for me to make myself an earthquake shelter under the table with the cot.
Yeah, and so this year we finally did Zap 100% right. We got the room. It was beautifully comfortable. It was the same type of room we got last year.
I will say that one thing that I like about that room is that there's one room that I'm just going to call it the Love Suite because it's
It's a room with one bed and a door that locks.
Yeah.
I did not realize my mistake back then. However, the couple did not capitalize, so it's on them.
Something just feels wrong to me about fucking in a room where your friends are going to be staying in.
I mean, he's going to be Steven is going to maybe be moving in with us by the end of May, so
Beginning of May.
yeah, like get used to it, girly. So
Okay, so we get checked in. The con starts off really well. I mean, we hit up vendors for a while. We saw Jay Hickman. I thought he was in Apollo 13. He was actually in a much lower rent movie,
Apollo 11.
Apollo 11, which they made around the same time. And apparently, this is an interesting fact I learned about Jay. He's actually been inside the original Mission Control, where they launched the real Apollo 11 out of. That low rent Apollo 11 movie was the first Hollywood film to film inside of the actual Mission Control. They recreated it for Apollo 13, but somehow this movie got like unfettered access, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, Jay Hickman was a part of history, and we just hang out with him.
Yeah, he was very nice to us. He gave us a photo op, no charge, and then he told me that one of my favorite restaurants is closed forever. So thank you for that,
I mean,
Granite City.
I mean, that fact about Apollo 11 is it's just like saying that it was Nuki, not E.T. that got to film on, like, I don't know, Gettysburg or something.
Right. It's like, how did this low rent movie get like the high honor, and this, obviously fantastic movie of Apollo 13 didn't get to film at NASA. But we, con started off super easy. Steven, I think you joined us.
I settled in about 8 p.m. Got myself like 30 minutes to settle in, and then it was off to angst and regret.
Yep,
we premiered that on Friday night.
Can I say something that happened earlier in the day on Friday?
Sure.
When we were walking through the vendor's hall, I found literally the worst thing ever.
It's sitting like 2 feet away from me.
Yeah, I'll see if Steven can edit a visual in once we finally start editing this episode, but it's this Ray plushie that I literally just had to buy it because it's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
And how much did you pay for it?
Like $25.
Oh, okay. That for con prices, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Because most plush, like the Shizuku Nezo, you bought for like $45, right?
Yeah, either 45 or 55.
Okay. Yeah. So
My favorite part about this array is that she has a suction cup, so apparently you're supposed to put that thing in the car.
But that thing doesn't... I keep trying to stick her to everything. That suction cup does not work.
yeah, I tried to stick her to the mirror in the bathroom at the hotel room. It didn't take. So.
What do you expect for $25?
She has no chin.
Yeah.
Her chin is literally where her mouth is.
Sign of fetal alcohol syndrome.
But yeah, so we bought the Cursed Ray. I got a new wallet, the Cobra Kai wallet, which was pretty awesome.
From the same booth.
Yeah, from the same booth. They were making these really nice wallets at the same booth they were selling that monstrosity over there. You explain that to me. But
You look at that thing and tell me there's a god.
She is God.
I guess.
Exactly.
Consult Evangelion for details. Anyway, so we debuted your high school angst and regret anime panel at ZAP, and how do you think it went?
It looked like it took crowd interaction. Like, the more we went down the list, I was surprised that the more people haven't seen it or probably chose not to remember seeing it.
Goddamn Zoomers.
Yeah, that's something that I wanted to bring up with you, is that maybe we're shooting a little bit too old with some of these shows.
I mean, maybe we can just, like, put it to cringy anime next time, but yeah, we can tell them that we, instead of just saying don't watch this, we can say watch it and find out.
Yeah, fuck around and find out.
FAFO.
And I feel like that's one where if we keep just remembering cringy shows, we'll be able to add a lot more and probably add more things people remember, because it wasn't until like a few days after ZAP I remembered the anime called Another exists.
Yeah.
And that's when we watched that for Anime Club Halloween like 2-ish years ago, and we watched it, and as soon as I got home I forgot literally everything about it.
I mean, it's not that memorable.
I remembered a handful of things, but I usually forget about it whenever it's not brought up to me for long periods of time.
Umbrella Girl was the only thing I remembered of that show.
Yeah, I remember.
And the ending was pretty interesting.
Yeah, the ending was kind of bonkers. So, have you seen this show, Steven?
I have not, actually.
Okay.
Alright, well, we won't get into spoilers, because I think Another was actually pretty good from what I remember.
Yeah. It might have been a good story with a shitty adaptation.
Yeah, it's not that... It's like all the pieces were there, it's just they couldn't make them fit.
I mean, I know there is a live-action movie of it.
Oh, is there, like, the whole story, or just, like,
I think so. I think
okay.
probably just what the anime covers is probably the whole story.
Oh, okay.
Since, like, it seems like it ends on a pretty complete note.
Yeah. I mean, it'd definitely be something that I'd want to throw in there, because that's
It's just kind of an edge fest.
Yeah.
Imagine being outdone by the live-action version of your own show.
That almost never... Do you know how rare that is?
I mean...
Probably the closest thing I can think of is Cromartie, but both the anime and the movie are just S-tier ridiculousness, so...
Yeah, I like Spider-Man on Broadway.
I mean...
For, like, maybe, like, the 2 weeks it ran before everybody died.
I mean,
Yeah.
A couple of live-action movies that outdid their both anime and manga adaptations was Edge of Tomorrow, which is an adaptation of the manga.
All You Need Is Kill.
Yeah, All You Need Is Kill, which...
How about Dragon Ball Evolution? That was pretty faithful, right?
And actually, also, the live-action Rurouni Kenshin movies are pretty great. The best adaptation of that story so far. We'll see if the new anime might hold a candle to that, but...
Okay. If we're talking about live-action anime adaptations, I just remembered a story.
Well, yeah?
So, you know how my parents were weebs since, like, long before I was born?
Yeah.
And I remember one point in my young childhood when, like, the first live-action Death Note movies came out. Like, me and my family watched them all together, and I don't think we need a spoiler tag because I'm pretty sure everybody's seen Death Note before, but...
Most folks have.
Probably.
Yeah, so... In the Japanese live-action movies of Death Note, Light kills his dad.
Oh.
And then when I was 14, I decided to watch the Death Note anime when I was just getting back into anime. Light doesn't kill his dad in the anime, so I'm still confused as to why they did that.
Yeah, he sure doesn't.
I mean, that is an interesting difference. Like,
I feel like it does make sense because Light's dad was part of the force trying to stop Kira, so...
I almost suggested putting in, this is going to sound sacrilegious, putting Death Note into your high school anime panel, because we can't pretend that the ending
wasn't shit.
Yeah.
Well,
when we say Death Note is an S tier up until the last third when it drops to, like, being an A.
When they drop L.
Yeah, when they get...
The one time you drop it on, it actually becomes worse.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing was the author wanted to end the story with L dying, but think the story was just so popular in Japan that they just forced him to keep writing more, so he just had to come up with new characters on a whim.
Oh, that would have been a way better ending.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, there was one positive about it continuing all the way past the L arc.
What?
Like the continuation chapter that was written like a decade later had Donald Trump in it.
Oh yeah,
Wasn't he trying to buy the Death Note?
Yeah. He was because it was written around like 2016 in that area. But
The glorious shitposting years.
yeah. So Steven, I think you did really well with that panel. I thought the panel went off really. It was successful. Let's add some more shows to it. You know.
I also believe that we could probably add a spoiler tag at the very beginning, just to tell people, hey, we're going to be spoiling this show's carte blanche. So we,
Right.
definitely going to be needing to tell.
Yeah, so if you do the spoiler tag thing at the beginning, you'll probably just want to list out all the shows that you're talking about, like just so anybody who actually cares about that show can just walk out.
Yeah,
right
that
before.
was going to be the plan.
So, getting back on Zap.
Yeah.
Considering we went off on a wild bend there, but anyway, so we went to one of the V is for Villains panels. It was his bad music videos panel, but he actually did a bait and switch and gave us something I found to be even better: bad movie trailers.
And no, plane was not included.
Yeah, there was Titanic 2, that movie where Eric Roberts, Julia Roberts' father or whatever.
Brother.
Brother.
A talking cat! Exclamation mark! Question mark!
Yeah, that movie.
That was a movie.
Miracles from Heaven, that movie with Jennifer Garner.
Where it's like the girl has an incurable disease and then falls out of a tree and that somehow cures her.
They say it's God, but I keep thinking of the story from Christmas Vacation where Cousin Eddie's like, she falls down a well, her eyes go across, she gets kicked by a mule, they go back to normal. I don't know.
Lots of good stuff from that panel.
Yeah,
Trouble
yeah.
Man was one of my favorites.
Trouble Man.
Yeah, and that's...
That's my favorite Ultraman reboot.
Actually, one I remember that I really like. Hang on, I got it. Jotted down here somewhere. Not really jotted down, but Wolf Cop.
No.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't believe... These are like the movies that you find at the fucking bargain bin at... Not even like Walmart, but like...
Kmart.
Yeah, or like Piggly Wiggly or Menards or...
Or you find that one movie stand in the grocery store.
Yeah, exactly. And they're selling it for like $5.
Find it right next to the combined Happy Feet 1 and 2.
Yeah, or you find it next to like complete sermons of Pastor Billy Graham or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, then we went back up to the room. This is Friday night. Went back up to the room, partied, and then kind of just all shut down around
1-ish, 1:30 a.m.
Yeah, 1 o'clock.
I think I probably redeemed myself that Friday night.
Because you puked in the toilet this time.
Yep. And
Yeah,
I have
you
a
did
funny
it.
story, and it's not anything Jan did. Jan did everything right, but I hear like some rustling outside the room, and I stir awake, but I'm not like fully awake. I'm like I'm kind of like half and half. I'm kind of delirious, and I immediately yank the door open, and I see Jan standing in the door frame of the bathroom. I'm like, what the hell's going on out here? Or what was I like? Or
What did you do?
What
did you do?
What the fuck did you do? That's what you...
Yeah, and you said, you were like, I puked. And I immediately was like, where? And then he was like, in the toilet. I didn't say anything else. I just snaked back into the room and shut the door. Jan probably... I can only imagine what Jan was saying. He's like, what the fuck was that?
Well, the thing is, I woke up because I had a tummy ache, which now I can add, I'm a tummy ache survivor to my credentials.
Yeah, just stick that medal on you.
Which I would that night right before I did my business, I was just thinking to myself, what series of decisions has led me to like this position? Like,
Well, considering everything you drank, I'd say that played a role.
Yeah, I mean...
Speaking of things we drank, we elected not to bring Cowboy Kool-Aid because we've all found out that every clear does a number in your system if you keep drinking it for every con you go to.
And plus, like, we were not in a food desert. Like, we literally had grocery stores and gas stations.
And we're surrounded by restaurants.
Yeah, and plus, Steven had to go to work, so if he needed to pick up anything, he very easily could have. And I think we almost made a request for something, but we kind of backed off at the last minute.
Yeah, because you guys, there was some beer in there that you guys were like, oh, let's save this for Steven. And I'm like, I brought it to be drank. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah, so, and then, problem solved, basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, shout out to all of the alcohol we did bring, because I was able to get so drunk that I just completely slept through the nights.
Yeah.
She's growing. She's a growing child.
So yeah, Friday was great. We didn't do a whole lot except for Steven's panel in terms of our own content. Saturday, however, that was our big game day, and we had to kick it off immediately.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At 10 a.m., I was one of the first panels of the day doing my Lost Media panel, and I was expecting maybe 3 people to show up. Lost Media is kind of a niche thing, so I kind of expected that to just be a thing that only I would be interested in. But, we got to the room and already had a nice crowd in there.
Yeah, really good
there
crowd.
were people waiting before I even got in the room.
Yeah, really good crowd.
Yeah.
And you put on a good panel, and I kind of got into it more because I had to help you set it up, get it on backed up on my computer and everything.
Yeah,
And
I had to save all of the YouTube links I had on there, because we didn't have internet, so we had to download them onto Wade's laptop.
What's your favorite story in that?
Oh, definitely the biblical Subway commercial.
Yeah, why don't you explain that story for the good listeners? Because it's a fact. I was just enraptured by it, especially the Lego portion of it.
Yeah, so I think this is around 2019. There's this one YouTube artist guy. I think his name was Julian Von Brunk, I think was his name. And yeah, apparently as a kid, what him and his friends would just do to entertain themselves was just reenact commercials they saw on TV. This was the 90s, maybe early 2000s. And yeah, there's one local Subway commercial that was weirdly biblical themed. And eventually, just when he was an adult, that was one of those things he just wanted to make sure it actually existed. So he looked it up, couldn't find it anywhere. So eventually he made a plea to YouTube for help. And his memory was so good of what the commercial was like, he recreated the entire thing out of Legos.
Yeah, I love that story because it's watching the commercial as he
remembered it.
Yeah, as he remembered it. What the actual commercial is, it was so super accurate. The fact he did it from memory is just it's a feat in and of itself.
Yeah. I think it was a year or two later, just some other guy not affiliated with the artist or anything. This guy just happened to be at a flea market somewhere and just bought this collection of VHS tapes from the 90s and just watching them, and it's then he just clipped to this one part and posted on Instagram, and it was this weird biblical Subway commercial, and just eventually somebody who knew Julian Von Brunk, the guy who made the Lego recreation, somebody sent that to him. It's hey, is this the thing you were talking about? And yep, if you watch that commercial and his Lego recreation side by side, it's pretty much identical.
Yeah, and go ahead.
And I will say, in the grand scheme of things, the PR people at Subway are regretting that they didn't make Subway Moses their mascot instead of, well, you know who.
Or
the guy who used Subway to get into smaller pants.
Oh.
Yep.
You know what? That was a good one. Good job.
Yeah, I stole that from another YouTuber.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of made that joke at Anime ZAP. It's guys, if this is what Subway was considered marketing back in the night, I feel like they needed, you know who, Mr. 400 pounds lost for Subway, which even today I still can't believe that story, but he must have been doing something else. I mean, unless he was like fasting. But
I mean,
yeah.
If the stories are true, he definitely did do something else.
Oh, yes he did. Yes he did.
Okay, so after Lost Media,
I think it was like around noon you had the wrestling.
Wrestling, which they had us in the small room. They had us in... so there are 3 rooms at Anime ZAP. There are the 2 big ones, and there's this much smaller...
Yeah, room 3 was the small one that's the room right next to the vendor's hall.
Yeah.
It's like right between vendor's hall and Conops.
Yeah, which we were calling that the cuck chair of Anime ZAP rooms. But that panel went great. I mean, we had completely restructured our whole panel when we did that. And it still wasn't enough because Vince McMahon couldn't leave well enough alone.
Yeah, the news of him coming back literally broke like as soon as you finished re-editing the panel.
Yeah, I was packing my computer away and getting everything packed up for ZAP when I got a notification on my phone saying that Vince McMahon was coming back into the company. I'm like, oh, you motherfucker, really? You have to come back again?
I mean, new rule when we do our wrestling panel, we don't put the final touches until like 5 minutes before showtime.
Right. Because we can't anymore. Because Vince can't leave well enough alone.
yeah, that panel was great. What I like about ZAP, even though I've only been there, twice, is I like how, at least for those 2, like the panels we just listed, they have a receptive audience.
Mm-hmm.
And like there was like a lot of people there's a lot of people at the wrestling event or panel that actually knew what they were talking about.
Yeah, wasn't there one guy at your panel that actually was like a local wrestler?
Yeah. His name was Dan. That was he's actually subscribed to this podcast because
Hi, Dan.
Because hello Dan. Thanks again for all your support, and we will see you. Hopefully we'll see you in the ring someday. But yeah, there was a real wrestler there. Apparently he's been wrestling since like the mid 2000s, so good for him. But yeah, we really love that panel. I was very pleased with how it turned out. Obviously, not all our information was accurate at the end, at least. But I had a great time doing that panel, and it's definitely a mainstay now.
And then after that, your boy over here, the tech man, had to leave for work, so just zip over back to town, sit inside of a gas station for about 5 hours, sell all the Mega Millions tickets because that was like over $1.2 billion at that time.
Is it still 1.2 billion?
No, some guy in Maine won it.
Holy shit.
So, now it's back down to 20 million. But Powerball, as of the time I'm recording this, because I actually haven't looked at the news, might be at $500 million, so good luck. If you're under 18, don't gamble.
Yes.
I don't want H3 on our ass.
Yeah. But anyway, while we were, for that kind of, like, 8-hour gap from the time we were last on stage to when we had to be on stage again, we basically just did a hodgepodge of things. We did a shopping spree down in Vendors. I went across the street and grabbed some Buffalo Wild Wings for the room.
And I remember we went to happy hour, and I had 2 rum and cokes.
Did happy hour. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, another thing of this con, I kept running into people I knew in high school, and one guy who I hadn't seen since middle school recognized me, and he was at like pretty much all of our panels.
Yeah, and asked, did you guys basically do every panel this weekend? I mean, it sure felt like it at points.
I mean, for me...
Sam, Susie, Nate, William, Nico, and I think Maggie is her name. So, if you're listening to this, hi!
Hello.
For me, it was, you've seen all those people... Oh, God, my train of thought just left the station. Son of a bitch.
Well, okay.
I had a lot of thought.
So, yeah, we did happy hour. That was a lot of fun. We went to Mia's.
Oh, just
wrestling.
remembered it. For the guy that asked us if we did all the panels, I didn't say it aloud because I didn't feel like being a general asshole, contrary to my personality, I guess. I did just think we did all the good ones. No shade on everyone else. It's just a joke.
Yeah, I mean, there were plenty of people who delivered great panels. Mia, Jay Hickman, B is for Villains, and
Yeah. Speaking of which, our Berserk show, sparsely attended,
yeah,
but
Yeah.
not due to our fault though.
Yeah, the Berserk panel was at 9 o'clock, and the VS for Villains concert was at 8, and I think the concert was still going on when you guys were setting up for that panel.
yeah, they might have done an encore. I hadn't even thought of that before, but because he usually does encores, which is fine. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think anybody else was using the concert room because there are only 2 musical acts. There's Spirit Bomb and VS for Villains, and we call like the last half of Spirit Bomb.
Which, yeah, they were really good. Like, hopefully they come back to, like, the Illinois con scene or something.
yeah. Oh, well, that's good. I mean,
Also, sorry to people at the Spirit Bomb and VS for Villains concerts where I was so drunk I was just like singing along to every song I knew.
you screamed the lyrics of Blue Monday right into my ear because it was you and Jan dancing together, and I was just going crazy. Yeah, I was going crazy too because I love Blue Monday and I love their take on Blue Monday.
Yeah,
so.
when I get drunk, I start singing if it's a song I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, every time we have a party down at Wade's place, she's always putting on Love Live songs and just jamming
That or
out.
Evanescence.
No, it's everybody else that puts on Evanescence. I don't want to be the one that's an edgelord.
Come on, Evanescence.
Don't
is
say
great.
everyone, it's just me. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be the one that starts bringing down the mood, but Evanescence was a big part of my formative years, so if Evanescence is playing, I will be singing along to it.
I'll say, I put on a cover by Derek Blackman. Shout out to him. He's a really good musical guy. And I put on his cover of My Immortal on for us, and that's how I learned how to play the song
Oh, cool. Oh yeah, you showed me that
last night.
Yeah. Great cover. So yeah, I was very pleased with the panel. Jan did a great job hosting the panel along with me. It's just we got gypped by some shitty scheduling. It's no one's fault. It's just like if
The 2 we hosted right after your Berserk panel got attended pretty well.
the what?
The 2 right after Sonic 2
Oh
and
yeah.
Waifu Wars.
Oh yeah. Those were those were the Anime ZAP money shot.
Yeah, let me just say, just those 2 crowds probably made Anime ZAP probably the best con we've ever had.
The funny thing is, Wade we have a group chat, and Wade decides, like, I'm not sure if I want to keep doing, like, the character Chris. I'm not sure if I want to fold this into anything else. And I'm like, how about we wait until after Zap? And then we'll make our decision. Thanks to Zap, it's now a completely solo thing. Sonic 2, Chris Chan, Hell's Life Journal will definitely be a staple for us just because of the audience.
And probably Waifu Wars as well is probably going to be,
Right.
Speaking,
at least for the summer, we'll probably bring...
Can I explain this real quick?
Yes.
So what Steven brought up was a very real thing that I wasn't at all unhappy with playing Chris Chan. I love playing Chris Chan and doing the Sonic 2 readings. It's just I felt like, there were a couple of things. One, I felt like, have I really taken this as far as I can go with it?
And you've been doing it for like 4 years now.
Yeah. Good Jesus Christ. Yes, I've been doing it for 4 years now. So I was kind of feeling like, am I coming to the end of this? Can I do more with this? And I was also feeling like, our group here are coming up with great panel ideas, and I felt kind of selfish in a way, like saying we're going to keep Sonichu on our list.
Sonichu's one we all contribute to.
Yeah, it's like usually the highlight of our weekends.
Well, I recognize that. I was just, I don't know. I'm a terrible self-critic. Like, I really am a terrible self-critic of especially my own work. So, I guess that was just a manifestation of it. But we don't have to worry about that because the show we got on ZAP on Saturday was absolutely amazing, and it had some of our funniest moments from both the crowd, the actual show, and we can go through some of those moments because first we got to introduce a 10-year-old to Ray William Johnson.
Oh God, yeah. So at the beginning, or at least during our setup before we hit our time, we played 2 songs. Since Chris, if you guys have heard of Christian and what he did, no, what's it coming up like
If
3
you
years
know,
ago?
you know.
If you know, you know.
Chris Chan did what?
And it's how I came into this group. God.
I think we explained that in episode 1.
Yeah, episode 1 has more explanation.
Yeah, we won't retread old ground, but
But yeah, we play Stacy's mom, and then
by Fountains of Wayne,
and then Doing Your Mom, which is I can't remember the group name of that, but
it's got
it's Ray William Johnson's group. Or,
it was one of his
It's like
music.
Fatty
rock.
Slims, isn't that his name?
Yeah. It's for those of you who are like
Zoomers.
or like under the age of I guess 20. Ray William Johnson was like one of the first.
Used to be the biggest YouTuber.
Yeah, from like
If you guys remember equals 3, and how many tailspins I've set off with that one.
yeah. I mean, Ray William Johnson is still around. I mean, I don't think he ever got caught up in a big scandal or anything. I think his
Just popularity. Waned.
yeah, just channel kind of waned and fans moved on to other stuff, and so it wasn't like a Tobuscus thing where it's like complete and utter meltdown. It's just kind of
It's like
drifted away.
Every YouTuber I loved when I was in middle school ends up getting called out.
However, Ray
Sad
actually
truth.
is making a little bit of a comeback now. So
Who?
Ray William Johnson.
Yeah, I know. I see him a little bit more here and there over the past couple of years.
He's definitely doing shorts, but you can definitely tell he's a product of the early 2000s because he still says gangster, and it just hurts me to hear that.
I know isn't he planning to bring back Your Favorite Martian or?
I think he is, but I haven't seen anything yet.
I mean,
You can probably go to his personal channel to see that. So that's a YouTube search away.
I mean, to be fair, Ray William Johnson hasn't really been relevant to the YouTube scene since what, like 2014?
2013 probably.
Yeah, 2013, 2014. But anyway, so we're playing this song called "Doing Ya Mom" by Fatty Slims.
And this kid,
Probably could not have been older than like 12.
Yeah,
I place him at either 9 or 10. Honestly.
yeah, I thought he was like 10 years
runs
old.
past his mom and starts headbanging inside of the car.
Like in the doorway.
Yeah,
in
in
the
the
doorway.
doorway, and I could see him, and I was like, "Oh no, this is." I was laughing, but I was also quietly like just dying inside.
You know that laugh that you do, and you're like, "Oh no, get this person out of here," type of thing. Like, if you go up to like fucking Mike Knight at the local comedy joint,
Right,
and you see
right.
this guy who's like trying to make a dry joke land no matter what, and you're like, "Get the cane." That's basically what me and Jan
It's
were
like that laugh you do. It's like you're kind of laughing, but also just eyeing the security.
Yeah. And because for 18+ events at I think most cons, but like especially at at these animecon.org events, they usually have someone posted outside to like check ID, and which is good. But we were in there a few minutes early because I don't think there was a show on before us.
I think it's only like when it's time for the panel to start, they shut the door.
Yeah.
This one I specifically asked them, like, "Hey, is it okay if we shut the door and then open it up for people to come in? You're gonna be posted here the entire night?" She said yes, and then immediately left. So I guess she lied.
Well, I mean,
And maybe they were just changing staff.
yeah.
No, when I saw them, sometimes I said, "Hey, can you point me in this direction?" She said sure, and then never showed back up. So good job, guys.
Well, I mean,
it might have just been she got caught up doing other things. Let's be
yeah.
honest.
I mean, it's rough. It's rough going, doing event stuff. So, shit happens. It's not a big deal. It's just like it was pretty funny though to see that kid. Fortunately, I think he either wandered off or his mom let him.
His mom grabbed him and said, "Sorry."
Yeah. Completely understand.
I mean, I was completely face palming when he was dancing off to that song. So
Yeah, I can tell you. Let's see.
Oh, he was like.
Let's see. The 5 of us who were up there. Heather probably didn't notice Jan and I had probably a partial heart attack.
I was laughing my ass off.
And I was still trying to get ready for the show. I just kind of looked at it didn't even register at first that kid was like head bopping to our music because I was still like trying to get ready for.
Yeah, you were getting changed in the corner of the room.
Yeah. No, I ducked down beneath the table, took my wrestling shirt off, threw on
The Chris Chan shirt.
Chris Chan.
The tube sock.
Yeah, oh god, that thing is so hot. That thing is so hot. I feel like I need a new costume. I might make that like a pointed thing that I'm gonna do during our con drought from like February to July. Because every time I get into that costume, I'm doing like Hulk Hogan moves, like to try and stretch the thing out so I can actually move around in it. Cause
Yeah, Wade and I are both. I'm throwing this on this him now. We're both going to try to get more in shape rather than just round. So then I can pull off because I got glasses and everyone says I look like fucking Senator Armstrong. So I'm gonna try to pull that off for the summer cons, get in shape. And Wade's gonna try to get in shape just so he can fit back to Christian.
I mean, Chris, maybe you should start doing like Chris Chan post 2011. So
no thanks. Now, I'm definitely not doing the piercing.
or maybe you should go as like, don't drop the soap, Chris. Like,
Okay, but like, I'm gonna be trying to get into shape too, more for just than performing as Christian. I mean, I lost 25 pounds last year. So,
Good job, man.
So
I probably gained them.
But yeah. So moving on with the actual Sonichu show. Great show, but one of the funny moments is that so Steven has kind of unofficially, I guess at this point officially, taken up the role of explaining
how the
Yep.
you know what, at this point we might as well just be blunt about it, how Chris imagines his fucking
Sonichu's having sex.
yes,
how they
Sonichu
fuck.
Yeah, how
Which-
the sex organs work.
Which, to give a short version, it's basically, since they're Pokemon, they still lay eggs, but they mate as humans do. So, fucking hell.
Hey Jan, how big is Sonichu's you know what?
How big is the member, boy?
7-incher.
it's a 7-incher because regular condoms can't fit him. He needs the magnums.
Isn't 7 inches like the average?
No, the
6.
average is 5.5 inches. Ma'am.
I
We
don't
need to get
know.
you a ruler?
I mean, she's only seen mine, so that's why she probably thinks it's a 7-incher is the average.
Do we need to get you a ruler?
Maybe.
Okay, that was actually kind of clever. I'm not gonna lie.
That's pretty good.
I mean, I've never had one in the room at the same time.
Okay. Before we get
Moving on.
I was trying to get you guys to read your lines from.
Do you think I have that comic memorized?
I do, because I have to read it all the time.
You've been reading it for 4 years, my guy.
Yeah.
I do. I'm just always drunk when we read it, so I've never
Oh, that's
memorized
the
it.
thing. That's the funny thing. So, because all of our panels were like back to back to back, I didn't really have enough time to like really, because there was also stuff that I wanted to go to that I didn't want to get like really.
Yeah, you had the
super-
Berserk panel right before, so you had to be sober.
Yeah. And
to respect Mira.
yeah, I was pre-gaming during it, like, slugging some beers and stuff. But I knew Steven was going to come with like some hard liquor, and I could do a bit of catch up there. But so I was actually pretty. I mean, I was drunk that night, but I wasn't like gone. I still had like understanding of what was going on, and it was the first time that I think that I've done the 18+ version of the Sonichu reading, even coherent,
slightly sober.
sober enough to understand. I'm like, wait, this motherfucker for real? He thinks the dick slides out.
Yeah. Let me get to that real quick, right? So, I'm gonna paraphrase this just to make sure we're inside of guidelines for the various websites we put this up on. Which, show moment. I am planning to open the BitChute and Rumble accounts, maybe even Odyssey, so that way we can be a little bit more explicit. Maybe have some exclusive on those.
Because YouTube is being stupid.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Maybe just have a little bit more exclusives. Also, that way, so future employers don't find out what the fuck we do.
Don't let people know how I live.
But maybe we can do a little bit more explicit stuff on like Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey, and also just keep it as an archive. So that way we can, be a little bit more free. But also just in case, because we all know how YouTube put in their new policy of even if you swear in videos that are like 5 years old, and you still get the knock. So it's a thing that we have to do. It's the way that the online landscape has turned. So it's what we have to do. So yeah, look out for those. Also, I'm gonna shout out our artist, a very good friend of ours, and she did this for us after asking.
Thank you, Kyra.
Yep. And I can give you if you email me at offthebalcony21@gmail.com, I can give you the artist's name. She only does safe for work stuff, so for the people who want to be degenerates, no. Not yet.
You're shit out of luck.
Yeah, pretty much. But she did the art for the new channel profile picture, and then now all I need is a banner and can actually have a presentable channel.
Right.
But going back to Sonichu, even though I wanted not to, I got put in charge of explaining how the anatomy works, because when I did it at first,
it got a lot of. You did that first at Memphis, right?
No, not at Memphis. It must have been
CAD 21.
Or I think it might have been even like
No.
So Zing, because that wasn't 18.
Because at Zing, when I first entered the group, I was just doing live reactions because I've never read the Sonichu
It had to have been a time when I joined the group, because I think that's when we started doing the porn comic. Because
it was CAD 21.
CAD 21.
No, it's not CAD 21.
Okay, I think it might have been like
No, it had to have
Memphis.
been, because we had read that comic before.
It would probably have been Memphis because you were dressed as a doctor.
Well, that's the first time I just made a show of it.
Oh, Zap 22.
Yes.
Yeah, Zap 22 would have been the first time that you did that.
Because I felt like it was funny to perform in front of our friend Noah, just explain the anatomy to everyone, and somehow that just became a thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's hilarious because, folks, to anyone who wants to be a Christorian,
don't.
Well, yeah, that's the first message. Don't. It's not a fun road. But secondly, if you must follow the path, read Sonichu, because I know it's gonna suck, because Sonichu does suck.
You'll get confused,
but it's a very good window into how Chris views not just himself but the world, how he views other people, how he views authority, how he views.
I like to call it the progression of the artist, because Chris, due to his severe autism, and I'm saying his because there are very specific reasons I do. Email me if you have any questions, comments, and or concerns. But due to the way that he was raised, you can definitely see his thought progression.
Mm-hmm.
Even going from him to her. So, it's a very nice way you can see, especially when it comes to when Chris got the angriest at the trolls. I think it was Series 8.
Yeah,
where the kangaroo courts came out. Funny as shit, by the way.
It was one of the last comics that he ever did. He only ever did, so the actual length of Sonichu comics is kind of difficult to determine because he just crams so much shit in there. But,
especially when he does those, half comics in prologue and epilogue stories.
But he's done 11 issues that came out from 2005 to 2010. So you have to count issue 0 in that, but it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's 11 issues total. Yeah, 11 issues total. And, but yeah, Steven has, I don't know if you just volunteered or if I asked you to do it one time and you just kept doing it, or...
I did it actually, I think, yeah, because that was the second con I ever went to when I started doing this. So what I did was, when I did it, genuinely when I did it, I paused the actual show because we came up upon that and everyone had a puzzled look on their face. Even our buddy Noah. So I had to go up and explain how the fuck this shit worked.
Yes.
And,
I think Noah took a photo of you doing
yes, he did.
For the
He
first
did,
time.
because the first time I did it, I was in regular clothing.
So this would have been CAD 2021.
Yeah, CAD 21.
I proclaimed ZAP 22, but by that point, it was CAD 21.
It was CAD 21. Yeah, because God.
Well, like so
what happened? So let me try to finish this. So I do that up there, just tell everyone, hey, this is how Sonichu makes eggs, like avians mixed with mammals, and it's the most ungodly version of both. Somehow,
there are actual mammals though that lay eggs, like monotremes or whatever.
Someone actually at Zap 23 said it best. A platypus.
Right.
Sonichu's a platypi.
Basically, I mean,
platypuses are already God's joke, so that just...
Yeah, it kind of fits, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, the animal I consider God's joke is sun bears, because they look like somebody who's never seen a bear before trying to draw one based on other people's descriptions of what a bear looks like.
All right.
Very cool.
So you can tell the drinks are hitting.
Very interesting tangent.
But bringing it back to trying to bring it back. So yeah, Dr. Medicare explained Sonichu. So the Medicare part came in as when I started cosplaying as Medicare because it's the easiest fucking thing to do, where you can just like throw on a red T-shirt, buy his hats, please buy his hats, and put on some black pants. Headphones are optional, and then you just go ahead and start explaining Chris Chan or Ralph. We'll get to that later.
Yeah,
however, it's just it was a thing that I thought would be a joke and be a one-off bit, but it just kept going.
Yeah,
and I just added self-deprecating humor and the obvious suicide jokes because everyone makes those. Let's not kid ourselves anymore. We make those jokes, and especially at this one, I just cracked open a 40 of Red's Wicked. And just said, okay, everyone, here we go.
Oh, yeah. If you know we're hosting a panel when the table looks like just a sea of drink.
It looks like an open bar.
Yeah. We just got bottles and shooters everywhere. Okay, before we move on to Waifu Wars, because I think that was our big,
big money panel
big hole-in-one moment. Of all that shit that you have to read, well, okay, two things. One, I want to say that when Steven was actually reading the anatomy, it's like this big long wall of text with these really
stupid... There were 5 total pictures on the page, and everything else is Comic Sans written bullshit.
Yeah. So as he's reading through all this stuff, more paraphrasing it than actually... Some sections of it he'll read. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Some sections of it he will read word for word, but mostly it's just paraphrase and, making snarky comments, which is cool, which is exactly what I want. But
and adding grammar that Chris doesn't have.
Yeah, and making it legible for people who don't speak Christian. But anyway, so he gets done with that page. I'm like, oh, thank God, we can move on to, we can move back to the, other funny stuff. Not that, obviously, the anatomy stuff is very, very funny. But, going through the text wall, it's just daunting even looking at it, for me at least. But it's like... And then I hit the button to switch the page, thinking it's going to hit back to
the action.
Yeah, the action. Oh God! But then I switched the page, and it's another It's another text wall, and I literally shouted in the mic, "Oh, come on! I didn't remember that. I didn't know there were 2 pages of anatomy to this shit," or something like that.
Something like that. And I go, okay, here we go again. Which, oh my God.
Actually, no, I remember what I said. I was like, oh, God damn it, there is 2 pages of anatomy. Fuck!
We thought there were only one. This is what happens when we do a panel kind of sober, as opposed to just filling ourselves with jungle juice beforehand.
Yeah, and just rolling on with it.
Oh, good Lord.
But yeah, in total... before we move on, Sonichu, that performance really made me want to stick with this character. We did the origin comic, we did the Genesis of the Love Hogs, we did the sex comic, and then we did
Jerk Ops, I believe.
Yeah, we did Jerk Optastrophe.
We should have done. We probably should have. Honestly, in my opinion, we probably should have skipped Jerk Optastrophe with the rest of the sets comic, because that was the one where they it was like another thing where you could see how Chris deals with the trolls.
Oh, where they go to where they go to
the tower, and it's like a bunch full of a
Yeah,
bunch of
yeah,
references
yeah.
and very
We've
bad
done
jokes.
that before.
Which I actually kind of want to do that one again because I get to. There's a part where I just get to just scream as Rose Chu, and I actually really loved doing that.
Well, you can see it at AMKE in just about 2 weeks, I
Yeah,
think.
just
Or,
gotta
you know,
cut out like that middle section of the green Sonichu that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna post this after AMKE anyway. That's gonna be our MO. We're posting this after and starting to brag about what we're doing next. So
Yeah.
it's fine.
So, Waifu Wars.
Oh yes, Waifu Wars.
That
I
was...
mean,
If you're the girl that put Nagisa in C tier and Nico in F tier, I don't want to say I'm gonna kill you, but
Just say that you're going to do it in Minecraft.
yeah.
I appreciate you very much because I could tell my friends to fuck off. It was hilarious as hell. I appreciate you very much, and now I can now make anti-Nico jokes in our friend group and just feel glorious about it.
I mean,
It is hilarious.
And I understand putting my best girl Nico in F tier because, she's not for everybody. But putting Nagisa from Clan Ad in C tier, really? Really?
yeah, so, with Waifu Wars,
We did change it, and it worked. We did change
Yeah.
the setup of it, and
Yeah.
it worked successfully.
Like we said, promises made, promises delivered. We made a system that we didn't just have only 10 waifus.
we went through 35 of them.
Yeah, how we did it was we had people form a line, and then somebody would come up, name their character, what tier they put her in, and why.
Yeah.
And then after they gave their reasons, we'd vote if anybody wanted to go higher, anybody wanted to go lower, to keep her in the same tier.
And not everyone who argued that their girl should be in a certain tier ended up in that tier. I mean, it happened most times, but well, maybe not even. Probably a majority of the time it happened. And yeah, that was the only major tweaks that we really had to make to that panel was just organizing it. Not at all to get rid of the fun yelling part of it, but to control it just a little bit to make it. And Steven did a really good job of controlling the crowd.
And earlier, I am sorry, I need to talk to Guinness about how they do their nitro cans because that is some actual bullshit that they pull.
Yeah.
However, I think with the Waifu Wars panel, me being the showman really did shine at ZAP.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you do a great job at that panel.
Yeah, and I don't know how you control those people because, I mean, I do because you've told me you used to work with Cub Scouts.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
whatnot.
I was in Boy Scouts from pretty much since 2003 to 2015, so 12 years of my life.
And I don't know if this would be related, but you were also a detasseling crew boss.
Yes, I am. So all of those is just learning how to control the herding cats.
Yeah.
That how to herd cats. That is anyone who is drunk, anyone who is under the age of 14. Control as in
Pretty
get
much the same mindset.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's be honest here. You just have those 2 years between. Actually, 5 years between. 6. I can't do math. At least not right now. But yeah, it's just being able to control the crowd on that point, and having to be entertaining. And I can just let it all go on the stage.
Yeah, and it was hilarious because we had a lot of great moments from that, and it all worked perfectly. I think Sakura went back up there, and she immediately got F tiered.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is
so a 1 tier upgrade from Shit on Fire.
yeah. You know what? I found out really. It was a really interesting time because last episode we said that we only got 10 girls up there. This time we tripled that.
Yeah.
Because of the fact of how we instituted our changes.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about some of the changes that we implemented, And one thing is, if you make a bad take that we disagree with, you only get one, okay? You only get one turn in the line.
No, you guys can come up as many times as you want. I don't care.
But I mean, we...
The Nagisa one was hilarious. The Nico one just made me die because... because Nico, being the punchline of that panel, sold it for me for being an actual, like, S-tier panel.
Probably another thing that makes the Nico joke funnier is because I think just to show who I was repping, I had my Nico Ida bag just sitting up there. My bag that has there's 2 Nico charms I've bought at cons, a Nico button, and 2 of my Nico plushies.
One of which was a mini Nezo.
Yeah.
But,
I think just as soon as she said Nico and F tier, I just stood up, just holding my Nico bag like Simba from the Lion King.
I honestly, I didn't see that because I just couldn't stop laughing.
I saw it because I was like... Because I heard, I want to put Nico in F tier. My finger was on the mouse. I've been dragging, and it immediately just, shh. Excuse me? I don't know if I should do this.
Alright, Steven, bring up it's just a drawing thing.
Okay, so in the middle of the panel, we had some people come in, and we were discussing one of the girls. I think it was May at the point, and they were like, but she... Actually, no, it was like a high school character, and they were like, but she's 16, though. And this is where I think one of the weaknesses of the panel is, because I believe I have to make a sign out plaster board at this point for that panel, because I have to physically tap the sign. I am of the opinion that you're going into a Waifu Wars panel at an anime convention that's 18+. You should know what you're getting yourself into, and you should know what the current anime trend is right now.
Yeah, and even if we did want to put characters that are over the age of 18, how many anime characters can you think of that are legal adult women?
And even
so you can make Faye Valentine your Forger.
Your Uzaki-chan, actually.
Oh yeah, keep forgetting she's in college.
Misato from Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yeah, there are girls, but most of the people that that go to these anime conventions, they're over the age of like 21, hopefully, and
yeah.
And, most of their childhood crushes, technically they don't age, because, hey, they're pixels on a fucking screen.
Jan still has a thing for Misty from Pokemon, because that was, like, when he was, like, 10 years old.
And, where did she end up?
She ended up in Shit on Fire tier, where she belongs.
I think she upgraded for Zap.
She ended up in D tier.
No, I'm gonna fact check this, because...
But while he's doing that,
I have the photograph of the...
What I'm really saying with this is...
Never mind. She ended up in Shit on Fire. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm right.
Fuck all of you.
But what I'm saying is that with the culture in Japan, they see their high school years really as college because that's where they have the most freedom to do things as a student. And as an example, in the West, that's what we really think of college, like how they do this stuff, and it's also mainly. Most of the anime that we watch, anyway, is aimed toward the high school audience. So...
Yeah, try thinking of any hit anime from, like, these last 5 years that isn't set in high school.
Hero Aka, you got...
Love Live.
Yeah, you got Love Live, and etc. like that. So the thing is, like, if we would want to, however, we would definitely get complaints about, hey, why isn't X, Y, or Z on the panel? So we would basically have to bend that rule. But getting back to it is that I always have a disclaimer read that, again, short version is, these are pixels on the screen. They do not have an age because they are fictional characters. And I would believe that everyone who is here knows how to differentiate between reality and fiction.
And we will be putting that on a sign, and we will tap it when necessary.
Because it's not that I'm concerned for our well-being at these conventions, knowing how people are in these fandoms. It's just that I'd rather know that, hey, we're all degenerates. Let's be honest with ourselves here. I'm going to put this sign up saying, hey, I understand that you may have these concerns. However, we are in a space where we want to let loose for at least an hour. Let us have our fun.
Yeah, and that's all we need to say about it. I mean, there's no reason to really, we're just gonna... I mean, if you try to bait us, good luck, because it's not going to happen.
Moral of the story, it's not that deep.
Yeah.
Touch grass, thank you.
Yeah. Basically, that's our... but I've got the final tally of...
Do me a favor and start from S to F tier.
Okay, S tier. And I really love our S tier, because I agree with pretty much all the choices. Violet Evergarden... Starfire, Raven, those are characters from
Teen Titans.
Yor from Spy Family.
Shinobu that he put on there twice.
Yeah. Oh, that was the one I put on.
Shinobu from Demon Slayer.
Mugi from K-On! Miss Bellum from Powerpuff Girls. Monica from Doki Doki Literature Club, Suki from Avatar, Katara from Avatar, which we had to lawyer her into S tier because
whoever said that put her in B tier?
It was the same one who put Nico in Shit on Fire tier.
Yeah, because
I swear to God, it was the same
I'm
person.
basically sure that person was either trying to be contrarian or like
just had bad opinions.
I mean, at the start, I told them we'll have fun with this. If you want to be that person who puts
if you want to be the heel.
If you want to be the heel, you're more than welcome to do it. It's your guys' panel, really.
We had Froppy, Faye from
Cowboy
Bebop, Comey from Comey Can't Communicate, and who is this?
I think it's Kaguya from Love is War.
Kaguya-sama?
Yeah. And then A tier, we had Delia which is Ash's mom from Pokemon. We had Chica from Darling in the Franxx.
02 from Darling in the Franxx.
I thought it was...
It's not Chica.
Oh, I just mixed up two shows. God damn it, I had a boomer gap again.
Is it a pink-haired girl with a little bow on her bangs?
And she has horns.
That's
I was trying to say the girl with pink-haired
moving
girl with the
on,
bow in her
moving
bangs is Chica from Kaguya-sama.
Adam Eve from Invincible and Mirai from Beyond the Boundary. B tier... Who's it?
Orihime from Bleach, and then we got
Asuna from Sword Art Online and Uraraka from Hiroaka. C tier.
It's where we start going into the samurai transgressions.
This is where holes start getting punched in walls. Uzaki-chan, Nagisa from Clanad.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Nagatoro, she should have been on Shit on Fire.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. If Nagatoro's your best girl, then you got some problems, bro.
Step on me, mommy.
And then and then we had Mother from Promised Neverland.
Isabella.
Is that her?
Yeah, her real name is Isabella.
And then D tier. I thought you were gonna get way more mad at this. Hatsune Miku made D tier.
I mean, why would you want to fuck Hatsune Miku when Mako is right there? And second of all, I mean, Hatsune Miku's not even just a character. Like, the real Hatsune Miku is a piece of musical software, so wanting to fuck Hatsune Miku is kind of the same as wanting to fuck your guitar.
I mean, IT nerds will be IT nerds.
And then we had Rem from ReZero, F tier, Sakura from Naruto, and Mei from Pokemon. And then Shit on Fire, we had Aqua from Konosuba, Azula from Avatar, which was a hard truth to hear, but...
it's true. It's the truth.
Very true. Misty from Pokemon, and last but not least, this was the last girl of the night.
My girl.
Nico Ni herself, Nico Yazawa from Love Live School Idol Project.
That is a hard truth, Hannah, for you to hear.
It's not the truth.
I never would have abandoned her.
Man, good thing democracy's a thing.
Yeah.
I love democracy. I love the republic.
But, that's how our Waifu Wars turned out great. You will definitely be seeing that panel over the summer as we move into, like, the summer con season. Unfortunately, we're not doing it at AMKE because we didn't realize how good the redo of it was going to be. But you definitely will see it in the summer.
And then just for the rest of Sunday night, we got drunk in the hotel room for a few hours until we passed out. Until 6 a.m.
Yeah, passed out at like 2:30, woke up at like 3:59 in the morning, and got greeted with a fucking fire alarm.
No, it was
It was
more
6 a.m.
It was more closer to 6.
No,
Yes,
actually, no, it was 5, like 5:30.
Some
Because by the time Jan and I got back inside, they were serving breakfast.
Yeah. Because they serve breakfast early
At 6 a.m., I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember just hearing just a faint beeping noise and just thinking, oh, Jan or Steven must have woke up and started watching reels on their phone.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of like someone was playing a video game or something.
The way, like, I was in bed with Heather, and I was just sleeping, and I just hear this, and I wake up, and I'm like freaking out because I immediately thought I was like having some kind of medical thing. Like I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and then I heard the message come over the
speaker.
Yeah, there's a fire reported in the building, and because we didn't know what was going on, you tend to treat those situations more seriously, and then so I run into the other room expecting to see everyone, getting up and getting dressed. None of y'all motherfuckers were awake.
Yeah, I was still passed out. I got very, very drunk that night.
No, I know.
I mean, we would have probably slept through Pearl Harbor.
And that's your...
I mean, I slept through a carbon monoxide detector once when I was in high school.
Well,
there it is, I guess. Right?
I came in and I said, guys, wake up. The fire alarm's going off. Y'all woke up and basically shuffled right out of the room. And within like 30 seconds, I realized, oh, you motherfucker. Someone I was thinking
I have two theories about how this happened, right? Either some person pulled the fire alarm very, very drunk, which, you know who you are.
I mean, it was like 5 a.m. That's past the point of drunk idiots.
Or
3-4 hours after everyone went to bed.
Or some guy was ripping a bong at like 5:30 in the morning and was way too close to the fucking smoke detector for it to differentiate. So it just went off.
I mean, I heard talk of like a kitchen fire or something, but...
Oh, so it probably could have been the cooks for breakfast going off and the fire alarm was kicking off.
And maybe just some burning oil.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, I will say I knew instantly that there was probably no fire, because I remember one time when I was hanging out with a friend at his place, and there was a fire happening a couple blocks down, and when I smelled the smoke, I just thought, who's having a barbecue in the middle of winter, or like...
Oh, yeah.
I do remember there was actually Anime ZAP like a few years ago, maybe like 2017. This was like, I was at one of Samurai Dan's panels. It must have been like 7 at night on like a Friday or Saturday. Mm-hmm. And the fire alarm went off like mid-panel, and you could very clearly tell nothing was actually going on.
Yeah.
And so he just told us, like, legally we have to end the panel and evacuate. So this was like room like 1 or 2, so we were like very close to the convention center door, and like we all just walked over there. But since it was the middle of January, nobody actually wanted to go outside, so we were just standing in the doorway.
Yeah. I mean, the reason I was so pissed off, like after we started leaving the room, is I just had flashbacks to Memphis when they pulled the fire alarm twice
within like the same hour.
Within like an hour and a half.
The best part was, I slept through both of those.
Yeah, you didn't.
Because I got your boy got shitter shattered at Memphis, so he had to go rest.
I mean, the good thing was that it was the middle of the afternoon on Saturday in the middle of summer. So like after our Helsing panel got shit canned, we just went upstairs, got you, and said, "Hey, our panel's done. You want to go to Beale?" And we went to the greatest. Yeah, we went to the greatest food street in America, one of the greatest food streets.
Wrapping it back to our sublime of winter.
Yeah.
Sunday,
no Beale Street for us there.
Yeah. Sunday, after our fire alarm debacle, 10 a.m., I had a panel.
Anime music.
It was anime music. And just like I said at the beginning, almost an hour ago at this point, you remember when I said I was going to play the Daydream Syndrome?
From Dream Eater Mary?
Remember how I didn't do that?
Promises made, not delivered.
If somebody didn't pull the fire alarm...
Yeah, if somebody didn't pull the fire alarm and I was able to get breakfast in time, I would have played it. However, since I was feeling like an absolute sack of shit and forgot to flip on the fucking power strip, so I felt like an absolute idiot.
Which is what happened to us when we were setting up for Hannah's Lost Media panel the day before.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out, like, why aren't the mics working? And then, like, a minute before the panel, I just looked under the table, saw the power strip, and it wasn't on.
Yeah.
As soon as I pushed the lever, everything worked.
Yeah, so just because of those two things, I can definitely tell everyone in the room was just out of it because I saw coffee cups and energy drinks galore with everyone there.
Yeah, and everyone was like, sweating and coughing a little bit.
Yeah, we were all tired because we had to be outside for 10 minutes right next to the Peoria River. No, not in Peoria.
East Peoria.
Yeah, East Peoria.
Yeah, it's East Peoria, but I'm trying to remember the river.
Peoria River.
Oh, it's Peoria?
Oh, no. The Illinois River. The Illinois River.
We were right next to the Illinois River because we were just right next to it.
AKA the dirtiest river in America.
Fun fact, if you guys actually want to come down to Peoria, you can put your boats in the water, go down maybe like a couple miles, and then start batting Asian carp. Because that's a pastime in Illinois now.
Yep.
But going back to Zap, we did Anime Music, which, thanks to Wade helping me out, we put a little bit more more prompts for people to ask, and then mid-panel I decided I can start doing a little bit of a guided tour and get people's brains a-jogging. And with doing that, I had no need to play guitar.
Yeah. It took off. Like, we had a lot of, we didn't have, a full house in there, but we had, a lot of, metalheads.
The people there wanted to talk.
Yeah, even musicians. We had a lot of musicians in there. So
yeah.
The style that I had it in was, hey, I know we're all tired and or hungover, so come up here and talk about your favorite shit.
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah, it worked. And you'll see that panel again. We're planning on bringing it back for Anime Midwest.
Yeah, that's definitely coming back to Midwest.
You had basically said that's the only one you wanted to do.
Yeah, because of the fact that we have to travel with 2 cars if I decide I want to bring my stuff for Anime Music, which usually has a live performance of me playing a song, and that requires a guitar and amp, and that we don't have the space for it in one of our sedans, which is why you should go on over to our channel links in the description and go ahead and click that GoFundMe link for my car. And if you want to support us having one unit to travel in, one spacious, nice luxury unit for us to travel in, please donate. My goal is $10,000 for the car. And if we go over that, I can start doing things to the exterior and maybe redoing the interior.
And once we do have more trunk space to travel with, I am going to shell $200 to probably get an Ibanez Micro, a short scale bass, so during our musical performances I can contribute to those too, since I am a very good bassist. And the bass instructors I had in my high school years actually ran out of things to teach me, so that's my big flex in life.
Nice.
Alright, so we are kind of running short on our personal time here. So we're going to go ahead and move into AMKE real quick.
Well, real quick, let's do our final thoughts on Anime ZAP. How do you think it went?
Probably one of our best cons.
I'd agree.
I mean, ZAP is consistently a good con, and nothing has changed, so...
Yeah.
Everyone there was amazing.
Yeah, really pleased with all of your guys' panel content. Really pleased that we didn't have... Hey, the big disaster of ZAP wasn't our fault, so...
There we go.
Yeah, nobody ruined a bed.
Yeah, and everything went off good.
All my costumes survived.
Yep. Everything's good. ZAP was amazing. Steven, how do you feel it went, even though you kind of had to leave for... But,
even though I had worked in the weekend, it was a very good performing con as far as panels were concerned. And I do feel sorry for everyone who went to V. V is for Villains concert, where we had to deal with the nasal assault from that one guy who forgot how to bathe.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You smelled that too?
Well, I mean, I think I must have caught his BO, because I didn't feel myself get sweaty at all that week, but just as soon as we got up for Berserk and Sonichu, I just smelled myself, and I smelled like a gym locker room.
Yeah. The homie was doing the whole Wednesday Adam dance to V is for Villains song.
The entire show.
And smelled awful.
As a very wise man said, if you can afford to go to an anime convention, you can afford deodorant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know Jan had to go up to the room as we were setting up for our panels and grab some stuff, and I texted him, bring me my deodorant, because I smelled so bad.
Time to detox.
And the deodorant didn't fix me, so as soon as we finished our night panels, I took a shower.
So, real quick, so those are our thoughts on Zap. Great con. We'll be back next year, obviously, back in full force. But as for AMKE, is everyone excited to head back to AMKE?
Woo!
Yeah,
I'm not excited for that drive because driving from Central Illinois to Milwaukee takes forever.
Yeah, Illinois is a very long state.
Yes, as we found out during our Memphis trip. It's like,
Yeah.
Jesus, this is a big state. Did any of you guys know this?
And I'll probably fall asleep in the back of the car.
So for AMKE, we're doing our tried and true Sonichu panel. We're bringing back Miyazaki. The high school angst and regret panel is coming back. Anime Party Time will be back. And we're bringing back two oldies but goodies. Jan has a panel about military themes in anime and military representation in anime. And we're also bringing back a panel about Avatar: The Last Airbender. So that's the list.
All sounds good.
And we're also bringing Miyazaki with us.
Yes.
Which, who wants to bet that's going to happen on Sunday while we're still hungover and about to leave again?
Oh, you know it. You know it. That's how they always do us.
Every time. Every single time.
I'm just hoping I find some more Love Live Nesselberries in the vendor's hall.
Oh, you know. I mean, AMKE's like around the size of Midwest. So,
Yeah.
So you know it's going to have some good stuff. Plus, you know, a lot of great... I don't... Like, I like AMKE. I like the people who go there. You know, because we had great shows at AMKE. Like, both the shows that we've done at AMKE of Sonichu have been absolutely fantastic. It's just like, you know, it's a good con. It's just like you gotta jump through some hoops to make it happen.
There's also some policies that have been changed with AMKE that's like, maybe we don't get free badges anymore. Oh no, we might actually have to pay for a fucking con once in a while. But you know what? Small sacrifice to pay if we can entertain almost the entire convention in like 6 panels.
Yeah. So that's all we have. That's basically our AMKE.
I know at the beginning we said we would talk about some locales. However, again, we are pressed for time a little bit.
I mean, we could probably just edit the parts where we say we're gonna.
That's fine. We will come back with that on our next episode,
which will probably be after AMKE. So expect that after the AMKE retrospective, and that'll be the last retrospective we'll do for like the next 5 months.
Yep. And then at the time we probably should all be in a more central location where we can actually get ourselves a little bit more not being the Hunchback of Notre Dame with these fucking recording musings.
All 4 of us may be living in the same town.
Yeah, same town. If you said same apartment, I've had some questions. But
yeah, I'm like, this wasn't discussed with me.
But yeah, we will all be in the same town hopefully by the time after AMKE hits. So, thank you for joining us, everyone. Sorry we didn't get to the locales, but we guarantee that'll be the
I need to show these guys and Wade's girlfriend Love Live Nijigasaki Season 2.
Yep, that's what we're doing next. So, Nico.
Yeah.
F tier.
Gonna see Lanzu, Mia, and Shioriko.
Right. Get to meet the Avril Lavigne knockoff.
Well, technically, their subunit name is Rebirth, so the Rebirth Girls.
All right.
Yep. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
See ya, guys.
Thanks for coming to see the show. We'll see you guys next time with episode 4 with the AMKE retrospective and the locale discussion.
Yep. This has been Off the Balcony. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.